All right. Hello, everyone. This was a very unscheduled video that I decided to start today. All thanks to my friend, someone who I actually look up to very much, Sarina Jain, I have with me. Very impromptu conversation happening right now. I just happened to message Sarina, and we kind of just have our check-ins from time to time. And I said, "Hey, do you want to have a chat and record it for my blog?" And she said, "Let's do it." That's Sarina's personality. She was just totally in with it. So here we are.
Here we are.
A little background on how Sarina and I know each other. So we met while I was planning last year's TD South Asian Fest. And Sarina is the lead on Masala Bhangra. And I will let Sarina tell you all about that because it's just an amazing venture that she has created. I should call it an empire, really. It's an empire.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
You're doing phenomenal. So thank you so much, Sarina, for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. I know,
Sure.
given the circumstances happening globally right now, there's so much going on and everyone's lives are just turned upside down. But taking the time to have this conversation with me, I truly appreciate it. So thank you.
Absolutely, Meenakshi. Congratulations on your baby, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
excited. So power to you for even doing something like this. I can imagine you're only interviewing the best of the best during breastfeeding times, right?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I call myself Mother Dairy because it's
Yeah.
like continuous nonstop feeding
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's always important, I feel, to just take that break out for yourselves, like being a
Totally.
mom,
Yeah.
and doing things like this where it allows our creative juices to flow and connect with other moms and other moms who are doing amazing things worldwide, like yourself. So maybe you can tell everyone a little bit about your background.
Sure. I agree that it's very important to have these kinds of conversations. Otherwise, I feel like all I'm doing is baby talk all day long. So thank you for this. I mean, I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
I've been in the fitness industry for the last, I want to say 28 years now. I'm coming up almost on 30 years, I think. In a few years, I have to look back. I've just been teaching for a really long time. And then years ago, I got, it's such a long story. I'm celebrating 20 years of Masala Bhangra being born, which is very
Wow.
exciting. I know,
Congratulations.
I'm so of all years to be celebrating the 20th
Yes.
anniversary, right?
Yes.
We're on lockdown,
I know.
but of
I
all years,
know.
but yeah, this is a very big year for the Masala Bhangra brand. Who would have ever thought that this Indian dance workout would have ever lasted this long? I actually sometimes, after 10 years, I'm like, all right, I'm on a mission, let's go. But in the beginning, I thought, okay, let me just do this for a few years and this will be great. And then one thing led to another. But I lost my father to a massive cardiac arrest at the age of 47. So he's the reason why I even ventured into bringing Indian dance to the fitness industry at a global level to honor him and his insistence into everything my dad told me to be proud of, being a woman of color living and born and living in the United States. So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah.
And it still is my driving force. I mean, I love what I do. I love what I've created. It doesn't really give me a lot of money, but it does fulfill my soul on every level. And that's something I don't know. That's invaluable. I don't know how much money you would put to that.
No, for sure. And that's such a beautiful story, knowing that your dad is, your inspiration behind all of this, right? And you have two babies.
I do have two babies. I have a 3-year-old and change. She's probably 3 years and almost 3.5. She's like 3 years and 4 months. And I have a 17-month-old, so she'll be 18 months next year. So they are 2 years apart.
Yeah.
And I got two little, very strong, feisty girls
Oh, I
in my
love it.
hand. Yeah,
I
I do.
love, love,
I
love
actually love it as well.
it.
I
But tell
love
us,
it.
how do you balance all of that? Like, that's a lot, right? Having two young kids, plus this amazing business. How do you do it all?
I don't know how I do it all, but I do know that I really rely, like my mom has helped me out so much
Mm,
in the last 4 years, from being pregnant to throughout the pregnancy, delivering the babies, and then post pregnancy. My
mhm,
mom has been there for me, and I just could not have done it without her. I'm so grateful that she is still around today and still alive, and she's thriving, right? Like she's just in such great shape, and I get a lot from her. I know I do. And of course, my husband.
mm,
Out of all of the suitors, I should say, that I met throughout my life,
yeah,
I obviously said yes to him because he is the one that has stood by my side, and he believed in what I did, Masala Bhangra, from the beginning, even though we fight about it today. But he believed in me, and
mhm,
he never let anyone or anything sway his um, direction or opinion or anything. And he just stood by my side and said, "I got your back."
yeah,
And I think that was really important. So he also helps me out a lot. I mean, between these two, watching the children while I go out and teach my classes or trainings or travel, here and there. They both have really helped me out big time to be able to do what I do and
yeah,
still be a mommy. I
yeah,
mean, I'm home with the girls when I'm home,
yeah,
right? And which is a lot.
mhm,
Things have changed in the last 4 years. I used to travel around the world, and now I'm traveling within New York.
yeah,
So things have changed a lot. I haven't gone on a plane to an international country in a really long time. So that feels weird, but what are you going to, what, in a sense, what I've decided at this time is to have a family and pursue that, with all cards on deck, and
mhm,
go for it.
mhm,
And when the time is right, then get back into Masala Bhangra full swing when I'm able to.
that's
But
right.
it's still running. It's
Yeah,
still, it's still there. I promised myself that I would never give it up
yeah.
or quit or throw in the towel or anything just because I got married and had 2 kids.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of many things that I admire about you is when you were here in Ottawa for the TD South Asian Fest last year. One event that we held was the Women of Influence event where you were one of the panelists, and you, you had she was 7 months old, I think, at the time, your baby. She had
Yeah, she was actually just turned a year.
okay, so she
No,
just
this
turned a
was
year.
in August.
This was an
No, this
yeah,
was
so she was
August.
much
Yeah.
younger.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So she was probably 7 or 8 months at the time,
Yes,
and
yes, yes, yes. You're right.
you were you were a warrior through it
That
all.
was
You
crazy.
traveled with her. You came to Ottawa with her. You had her on stage while you were doing your piece for the festival. You put her in the carrier. I mean, you were killing it, girl. Like it was amazing.
That was a very empowering moment for me. I mean, when
Yes.
you're in it, right?
Yeah.
When you're in it, you don't realize you're just sweating because you're
Yeah.
like, I just got to make sure I get through this. And, I'm here for a reason, and I'm very focused as to why I'm here.
Yeah.
But then in the background, you can hear my baby crying, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, okay, just stay focused. And,
Yeah.
stay for all these women and men are here to see you and everyone
Absolutely.
else. Try to stay focused. But you're
And
sweating through it.
it
But
was very empowering to see that because I mean, at the time I was about 7 months pregnant myself,
yeah.
and I was looking at you and I was just thinking in my mind like, oh my God, how is she doing it? Like praise her, like all praises to you. But it was amazing to see that, and it was very empowering and uplifting to know that, as a woman, I'm able to pursue my dreams and my passions just by seeing you do exactly that and
Right.
sharing your stories with everyone there. So I thought that was definitely very empowering, and I'm sure, I hope many told you that too,
I mean, I
because it's
really
not
hope
easy.
people, walked away feeling, uplifted and, ready to do something. I mean,
Yeah,
that was actually that was probably the favorite event of mine. I love that event. That was so
yeah.
great.
And then of
So
course you killed it at the actual dance workshop
that
where
was
you got the
awesome.
whole crowd.
That was amazing.
It was,
She
I
was,
think I have
and my
never,
baby was sleeping in the back. I'm like,
yes,
This is
I
great. Let's
know.
go.
Yes,
And
your
when I was
baby was at
done,
the back. I
yeah,
remember one of the volunteers was there with the baby, and then
yeah.
you were up front and you were doing your thing. And I'm not even just saying this because you're here with me, but I truly think that was probably one of the most like upbeat events because you had everyone literally off of their seat dancing. Like it
we
was,
had we had a blast.
yeah, it was
We had a
definitely a
great time.
blast. Yeah.
We had a great time.
So that's great. Like I think you know, hearing firsthand from someone who's, you know, managing this business, and I think it's being true to yourself when you understand and realize that it's okay to take that break to coast a little bit, right? To you know, handle our babies, right? Make sure they're our number one priority, right? Especially during this time. Like let's be real.
So, well, when you say this time, you mean
Yeah.
right now? Like this,
Like
everything that's,
presently, yeah.
yeah. I just had an aha moment.
Yeah.
I'm part of a group called Toastmasters. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've heard of them. They're amazing.
Mhm.
And I gave my second speech today,
Awesome.
and you know, under the influence, under the circumstances, right? We did it through Zoom, and
Yeah.
so like about 50 people that are members of this Toastmasters all chimed in,
Mhm.
and I was, you know, one of the speech. I was speech. I was number two in giving my speech,
Mhm.
and I just kept thinking all weekend and every day, how am I going to do this? Right? I'm 24/7 now with the kids. I'm 70%, 80% their prime caretaker. Right? My husband, you know, he works, and
Yeah.
so, you know, I want him to focus on that. So I'm 70%, 80% of the prime caretaker of the kids, and now we're 24/7 together, locked down in a house. How am I going to even write a speech?
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, there's no way I can do this. Like, you know what? Just forget it. There's no way. But something kept telling me, dude, Sarina, seriously, somehow just suck it up and make it happen. Because if you're going to, you know, surrender to the circumstance of all what's going on, then you're never going to get anything done in
Yeah.
life.
It's true.
It just really made me, so I was like, all right, you know, and it reminded me this, and I constantly am reminding myself, all right, when you're with the kids, focus on the kids and give them 100% of your attention. It's almost like when I'm giving you right now, I'm with you
Mhm.
right now, I'm going to
Mhm.
give you everything I got. Right?
Mhm.
I'm not going to be like, wait, hang on, let me get blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just going to give you everything I have,
Yeah.
because that's more valuable than, you know what, can you give me 5 minutes, hang on, can you, oh, let me, you know. And so I promised myself, all right. And this realization happened when I had Rihanna, the second one,
Yeah.
because I'm like, all right, it's such a gift to give birth to a child,
It is. Yeah.
right? And a lot of, you know, just it's just a gift. And so when I have gone through that process, why not now enjoy it? It's much harder on the other end, though.
Yeah.
Okay. But I just remember telling myself, just focus when you're with them, focus. And when you are with yourself doing your whatever you got to do, just
Mhm.
focus. And so I've
Mhm.
trained my brain now to almost become more efficient instead of dilly-dallying. So that speech, I wrote it last night because I'm like, I have no clue what I'm going to write, but let me just write something.
Yeah.
I kept practicing it in my mind, and, you know, and then I gave it today. And I gave it today with Sahana in the background. And I said, if you jump up and down and make noise, I'm not giving you a gummy bear.
Yeah.
And she's just like, oh my God, I better be
Bring
quiet.
out
And
the
I was like,
bride.
read
Yeah.
your books and do whatever you have to do, but do
Yeah.
not, you know, she's fascinated by video and stuff. So she's like, can I see? Can I
Yeah.
see? Anyway, I delivered the speech, and it was, she did bother me here and there a little, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, I got to do this. Like, this
Yeah.
is just where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it?
That's
I've always had that in my mind. If I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? Why am I going to push it off? And I've had that in me, instilled in me, honestly, from the very beginning,
yeah.
ever since my father passed away, because that he died at 47. My mom was 40 years old, and I would always tell her, Mom, if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it?
Mhm.
Because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
So very much in that time, you know, like my whole thing is give the kids presents now. So my relationship with my children has changed a lot. I know
Mhm.
them really well. I know how, I mean, so far,
Yeah.
I know how to be with both of them now, and I got a good grip on it. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
totally.
you're 4 months in,
Yeah,
you're 4 months in the second one, but you kind of got a grip on
yeah,
how to be with the older one
yeah,
and also give love to the younger one too.
yeah. And I find too now with, because my eldest is 3.5 now too, so very similar in age to your eldest.
Right.
And I find she's very curious. She's very curious about, Mama, what are you doing? Mama, who are you talking to? Mama, why are you on the phone so much? So sometimes I do have to scale back a little bit because they pick up on these things now. They know they're very observant.
Yes.
These little
Munch
people of
kids.
ours. Yes. But then on the flip side too, I always look at it like I I want to show my girls um, that nothing can stop us, nothing can get in our way, just because we have joined this new journey of motherhood, and there's a lot of new involved in it. That shouldn't stop us from doing what we want to do as well,
Totally.
right? So
100%.
I'm glad you feel that way too, because sometimes I talk to some moms and they say, no, like um I need to make sure that I'm there with them 100%, which I agree. That's absolutely it. When you're during the day, you're spending time with your kids, you be there with your kids. I agree with that, just how you explained it. But then I spend a lot of time like at night, right, catching up with things that I like to do, like our chat right now, right? So
I think
um
that's really important.
yeah.
I think that's important because otherwise you are sort of, look, we're, when you get married, right? It's very different than when you have children. You get married and you're still in this adult life, if you may.
Mhm.
You have adult conversations with everybody,
Mhm.
and you are privy to all the news and what's going on. You're just on top of it.
Yes,
And today, I'm just not as on top of it as I
it's so
used to
true.
be.
Yeah.
So these kinds of conversations are extremely important.
Yeah.
So I can have another adult conversation with another mother
Yeah.
and another woman, for that matter, that
Mhm.
may or may not be going through the same thing, but at least let me just have another conversation with somebody else other than, you know, um, Sana, come on, let's do it one more time,
Yeah.
or, just talking to a toddler versus an adult. I
Yeah.
think, because otherwise you will, I think, lose that.
That
That stimulation. I think a woman
Yeah.
should be a Renaissance woman, where she's able to be with the child, she's able to
Yeah.
be with her girlfriend, she's able to be with her husband, and all those different elements, and have different conversations other than, let me just talk about my children.
Yeah.
My sister and my sister has two boys,
Okay.
and we talk all the time, and it's great. And we do talk a lot about children now,
Mhm.
obviously, right?
Mhm.
She's younger than me, but I'm the late bloomer when it comes to all these things.
Yeah.
But we do also talk about other things other than our children, and we do talk about marriage, and we do talk about. I'll ask her a lot of advice because she really has some good advice to give, and I really I've grown a lot because of that.
Mhm.
And if I just only spoke to her about one little thing, I wouldn't, have, my mind will be so narrow. Like,
Mhm.
I really think you need to
Yeah.
continue to have, or read a book, or
Yeah.
do things that, or anything that stimulates you,
Yeah.
excites you, gets you, because then your energy comes off
Mhm.
that way for your
Mhm.
children. If it's
Absolutely.
just about them 100% of the time, which is great,
Mhm.
your energy is just different,
Yeah.
right? Your
Yeah.
energy is just different. It's, you feel differently.
Absolutely.
um I love exercising. I love doing push-ups, and so
Mhm.
Sana knows push-ups, and she's like, "Oh, Mama, I can do it too."
Yeah.
Well, one of the best things that's happened is, her whole thing of, "I can do it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, of course you can do it." She's like,
Of
"No, I
course.
can do it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Of course you can do it."
Yeah.
She's like, "No, no, I can do it. I can do it." I'm like, "Do you want me to help you? Here, let me help." "No, no, I can do it. I can do it." I'm like, "Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You can do it. Go ahead."
Yes, I know, and I
Then I have to remind myself, okay, take a step back and just let her do it.
exactly. I know, and I never ever want these little girls to lose that eagerness in them, right? That drive,
Absolutely.
right? That's just something that, as a mom, I want that to thrive throughout their lives, right? And remember to always take that step back and just let them let them do it, let them try it, right? They'll learn the consequences, right?
They will learn. They
Yeah,
eventually will learn for
yeah.
sure. And then, yeah.
No, no, I was just gonna ask. I'm just curious to know. Have you ever been criticized for for starting this business of
Masala Bhangra.
yes, Masala Bhangra,
Oh
and then
my God.
traveling, and then having kids, and being questioned? Why are you doing all this? Why are you not at home with your kids?
If I wasn't criticized, I feel like it would not make it would something would be missing.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm criticized for
Okay.
sure. One of the one of the biggest things is within the Salabhangra. I, this year is 20 years. It's like it's 20 years old now. I've completed 20 years in India,
That's
right?
so
That
amazing.
I've
Yeah.
completed 20 years. I've started my 21st year now.
Yeah.
Um, that certainly didn't come just with all perks and roses and all that. It certainly kind uh, I have had certainly lots of darts come my way,
Mm,
lots of haters come my way saying this is not Bhangra, go learn real Bhangra, this, that, the other. And at first it used to bother me, and now it does. Sure, it bothers me, but I just don't let it. I can't let it get to me anymore. I
mm,
cannot, because I know what I've created deep down inside. I know what I've created is kind of something to what's happening today with
yeah.
every Bhangra video that's out there, right?
Yeah.
I just put a name to it, and I just made it really easy for aunties and uncles to do it versus
Yeah.
like this really hardcore choreography with the hardcore gear and all the traditional gear and all of that stuff. Like, that's just not something I was into, because I wanted everyone to try this, not just my own people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes culture can be intimidating for somebody,
Yeah.
even for your own people. It can be intimidating. So I just didn't want to go there, and I been criticized for that. But I obviously I feel I'm doing something right because people are talking about it, right?
Absolutely.
Sure, when I got married, uh, getting married, falling in love wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. We
Mm-hmm.
fell in love, but the process of us getting married and um, us wanting, my husband and I, the way we wanted some things, and it just things didn't work out the way that
Mm-hmm.
we had
Mm-hmm.
wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, due to criticism or this or that, or not approval or approval, all of that good stuff that was
Yeah.
not fun to deal with.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm teaching. I both my pregnancies I taught all the way till the end,
That's
and both
amazing.
times the water broke in a class,
Oh, no way.
not in a Masala Bhangra class,
Oh, okay.
not me jumping up and
I
down.
thought
But I wish that had happened.
that would
But no,
be, yeah.
I mean, I teach all kinds of other fitness classes too, right? I teach weight training, and I teach kickboxing and step aerobics and all that. So
Right.
in one of my weight training classes, I remember it was a Thursday morning, and full on 40 weeks pregnant. My due date was tomorrow,
Yeah.
right, the next day.
Yeah.
And I squatted, and I was like doing squats. I was like, all right, guys, I'm almost there to the finish line. And I could feel something happen. And I'm like, that doesn't feel right today. Something feels weird. And I remember coming back, and I'm like, something doesn't feel right. And
Yeah.
I just so happened to have a doctor's appointment that day. And she said, your water broke. Like, you need to get to the hospital
Oh
immediately.
my goodness.
Yes, I got, of course, when one's not used to it, and
Yes.
when they don't know,
Yeah.
um, you're gonna get criticized when
Yeah.
they don't know. I fully believe you can work out when you are fully pregnant. Now, that's
100%.
me. I've also been, very active since for many years, not just I started because I got pregnant.
Yeah.
For many years, so I'm so used to it. My body's used to it, and knock on wood, my kids turned out fine.
Yeah. No, totally.
You know,
I did it. I worked
yeah.
out. I worked out more so the second time than I did the first, because I think with the first you're also a little reluctant to do certain things, but then with
Uh-huh.
the second I just, and actually if anything, working out made me made me come out stronger and better, both physically, mentally, emotionally as well, because I kind of, because I had a scheduled C-section with my second, um, I didn't take as much time to recover as I did with the first. So And that was, I felt, because I kept my body moving, I kept my muscles going. I didn't, of course, we all have our moments in pregnancy where we just want to eat couch potatoes and
Sure,
binge
of
eat and
course,
whatever. That's fine.
totally.
Yeah, totally fine. But no, I think it's important, right? Like not just for your physical strength, but also mentally as well, right? So
Also, for sure, and then also with the diet. I mean, I wasn't on a diet when I was pregnant, but I
yes,
ate
yes,
healthy. I was conscious of what I was eating. And you have your days where you eat, French fries because you just really want them. But there were many days where I ate very
Sarina,
good,
wait,
and I know
I have to ask, have you had a poutine before?
what's a poutine.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
What's
goodness.
a poutine? That was like out of left field. What is that?
Oh, I know. I should have. Why did I not make you try a poutine when you're here? Anyways, next time you're in Ottawa, you have to come and try a poutine. It's
But
basically
is
French fries,
uh
gravy,
okay.
and cheese curds.
Oh my God, it's
It is
vegetarian, right?
heavenly, especially when you're pregnant.
It's vegetarian.
Yeah, you can get vegetarian gravy
Perfect.
now. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
excellent.
yeah.
That's awesome. I'll have to try that. I hope to
Yeah.
come back soon. I
I
really hope to come back
know.
soon. I
We would
really
love
want to.
to.
One
Yes.
of the most fun things right now that I've been working on is to finally put out a Masala Bhangra virtual training out there
Love
for
it.
for people who want to become an instructor. I think I finally figured out how to do it. That's one thing I got criticized on is how come you don't have an online training? Oh my God, everyone has it. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? You guys don't understand. The trainings are really amazing.
Yeah.
And how do I take that training and put it into to something like this? How do I train you right
I
now? I
know.
just couldn't wrap my brain
Yeah.
around it. I finally did it, and I tested it out with a gal, and it,
Yours.
she put the bar really high. She set the bar really high for me. So
That's
I'm really
amazing.
excited. And speaking of C-sections,
Yes.
whether or not you have a C-section or whether or not it's a regular pregnancy, I think when you deliver a beautiful, healthy baby, what does it matter how it comes out? I know everyone wants to experience that natural way, and I get that. But that was a myth for me. Everyone and myself included pegged me as you're going to be in and out of the delivery room, right? The labor
Mm,
or whatever. You're going to be in and out because you're so fit. Your baby just going to
yeah.
come right out. And I really thought that was going to happen. I really thought that was
I
going to
know.
happen. So the first time was just such a um, shock
Yeah.
when Sahana was 9.5, almost 9 centimeters dilated, right? And she's, ready to come out. And she wedged to the side,
Oh, of course.
right? And she just wasn't moving. She just wasn't coming out. But they couldn't figure that out until later when then I had to have an emergency C-section because something happened.
So
So
you were
we're
at
like
9 centimeters,
nine
and
centimeters. Can you imagine?
I was at
So
7, so
so
I can relate.
yeah, so I mean, you're almost there,
Almost
right? You're like, we got
there.
to do it, but then
Yeah.
this happened. So I'm just happy that I got to deliver a beautiful, healthy baby, because of course I beat myself up, going, God, why did that happen?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants a natural baby. Who doesn't? Of course,
Yeah.
everybody wants everything
Yeah.
naturally, to everything
Absolutely.
happen naturally, right? Even having a baby naturally, everybody wants that.
Yeah.
But that's where it was very okay. It doesn't, life doesn't always work out as planned. I wanted it,
Exactly.
didn't happen. Moving on.
Yes. Well, that's interesting because, when you're in the delivery room and the nurse is asking you, so do you have a birth plan? I didn't have one. I just said, whatever happens, happens. But I think I was still very naive about C-sections. I didn't have as much knowledge about, what truly a C-section involves, especially the aftermath, the post-surgery,
Sure.
the recovery, the all the feels and emotions, having to attend to a newborn when you're trying to heal your body yourself.
Right.
It was a lot. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to speak to that, but it was,
I There was a lot. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That oh God, I remember that very clearly.
yeah.
The emotional side of it.
And it never leaves you. Like even though you might have had, we had our first baby like 3.5 years ago, it seems like a long time ago, but I just like I remember it so vividly, like as if it was yesterday.
You said something just now, and I remember, I don't think I mean, no offense to husbands, but I just don't think they will ever understand, right? My
Yes,
husband would always say, it's okay. And I'd be like, you don't
you
understand.
don't get it.
It's just not okay. And
Yeah,
of course now I'm like, it's okay. It's fine.
yeah,
Of course I've
yeah,
gotten over it.
yeah.
But I think one has to ride that wave because you don't know. My mother kept saying it's okay. And I'm like, whatever, you mom, you've been there, done that. So you don't know, like, just allow me to go through
Yeah.
whatever I need to go through because my emotions are all over the place right now. And you are trying to figure out yourself. You're trying to figure out your new body. What the hell just happened? And then you're tending to this baby and because, and the minute that baby cries, you're like, well, I can't really worry about myself right now. But
Exactly.
you just go, oh God, I remember that was the shock of that post. I've never had surgery
Me neither.
of
Yeah.
any kind. So that to me was a big shock that, I'm like, am I going to get through this? Am I going to be okay?
Yeah. I know.
But yeah.
But you feel,
Why did you have a C-section the first time and second time?
yeah. So the first was an emergency, and then
Right, right.
we decided to do a scheduled for the second, just because with my first I had complications after the surgery, so I
Got
had
it. Okay.
infections, and that lasted for a while, and so I just, for my own sanity, I wanted to make sure that I was ready for the surgery, if that makes sense.
Sure, sure, sure,
I didn't want
sure.
to have to labor
That's
and then to only be told that it'd be an emergency again. Like that was kind of
yeah,
my thinking
right.
behind it. Even though I was kind of criticized from, from a few that just let your body do it, let it run its course. But I said, you know what, just for my mental state, I think I'd rather go in somewhat prepared this time.
As
And
long as, I mean, you're the one that's pregnant. As long as you feel, you feel good about it, right? It's your gut feeling at the end of the day. Um, I think it's really awesome that there are people out there who love you and care about you and
yeah,
they want the best. So they tell you
yeah,
what they think. And if I didn't hear that, then I wouldn't know. So it's good
yeah,
that it's there.
yeah,
Just have to, what some of it goes through one ear, not the other. And
exactly.
then that's that.
That is the joy of motherhood, right?
Right. I
um,
mean, I think we will always be criticized. I mean, I'm even criticized now. Don't do that with her,
I
or why do
know,
you do that? Or
I know every little detail, but you take it with
yeah,
a grain of salt, and you just
yeah.
you move along.
I
Uh,
just say bale bale.
exactly. That I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start incorporating that into my response back to
I
people.
have something for your viewers, by the way.
Yes.
And if they're gonna watch this soon and they're gonna comment and they're gonna share some good feedback, then
Yeah,
I would like to offer them a free workout video of mine, a free DVD,
that's
downloadable DVD,
amazing.
especially in this time of crisis. A lot of people are home with no jobs and freaking out about money and
Yeah,
all of that good stuff, including
yeah,
myself.
yeah.
So I'd really like to offer them a workout video for them to do at home with their families and stay at least sane for that 1 hour.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so if I can share the
Yes,
code with you.
share
And
the yeah, share the link,
with
share
your
the
peeps.
code. Yes, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much for doing that. I
Totally,
know
for sure.
it's all about coming together during this time of I call it the time of uncertainty. We don't know what's really going on, but
Truly.
we all keep positive. We all stand together and stick together, and we'll get through this. We'll get through this tough time. And on that note, I would like to truly thank you again for doing this with me. This was I'm literally sitting in my PJs having this conversation with you right now.
Awesome. Awesome.
That's how informal and all of a sudden this conversation idea came about. So thank you so much again, Sarina. This was amazing. I know we could talk for hours, and our better experiences with motherhood, especially having kids around the same age. So maybe we'll do this again. Maybe
I hope so.
this
I
will
really
be
do.
amazing.
I
I
hope
would love to
another
do that.
topic.
Yeah, on anything, right? Anything related to motherhood or beyond. We're we're always in touch, so I'm sure
Totally.
something will spark. So until then, take care. Big hugs to your babies from
You
me,
too. You too.
and I'll definitely include that link for the viewers to
For sure.
the followers to tag along, because I think anything to get us up and moving is what we need in this world right now.
Absolutely. For sure. I will get that to you. I'll get the code to you. All right.
Awesome.
A big
Thank
hello
you
to your
so much.
viewers for sure. Thank you,
Okay,
Vinashu. Have a good night.
you too. Bye. Take care.